Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Butt Fumble Sports Daily Show. So wonderful to have you with us on this Sunday. Hope you're having a great day no matter where you're watching. Appreciate you joining us again. We are not on TikTok today. We are on Instagram Live, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. Butt Fumble Sports is live today because we try to be live almost every single day to talk sports with you, talk sports betting, talk fantasy sports. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, TikTok decided to give us a timeout for the next couple of days. So we will not be on TikTok exclusively, on Instagram Live, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. If you guys have questions, hope you guys are joining us. I hope the regulars are joining us, maybe even some new people who are coming over watching the show. If you have questions, get them in the comments section. We're still going to treat things just like we do normally when we're on TikTok. We're going to answer questions. We're going to give out picks. We're going to do research live on the show. So make sure you're getting your questions in and make sure that you're engaging with us about this amazing sports day that's going to take place. NHL, half of the equation has been figured out with the Florida Panthers getting that win last night. We cashed on Rangers plus 1.5. Didn't get enough goals for our overplay. But we also have Oilers and Stars tonight. Will the Oilers complete the series and move on to the Stanley Cup final? We will see. We will dive into that game in a little bit. I know a number of you out there are focused on hockey, so we will make sure that we give some attention to the NHL Western Conference Final going on in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But we're going to focus a lot on baseball. Baseball has a full slate today starting at 1:05. Twins and Astros first pitch. We're going to dive into that game first, actually. Deck 77 is saying Twins plus 1.5. That's exactly where the market's coming down. Right now, 76% of the tickets being bet are on the Astros to win, but 52% of the money is actually on the Twins to win. Discrepancy there. As for the 1.5 run spread, the Twins at plus 1.5, only 46% of tickets, but 64% of money. So everybody in terms of public and money like the Twins on the spread. Looking at the trends for this one, we're going to jump on over to killersports.com. If you're new to Butt Fumble Sports, you can always see everything that I'm doing, all the research we're doing live right in front of you. If you go on over to YouTube, YouTube is where you get the full experience. Caesar, good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day watching over on YouTube. Let's take a look at some of the early trends that we like for this game. Twins, last game of a series on the road so far this season. The Twins are 5-4 straight up, 5-4 on the run line, over-under split, 5-4 favoring the under just slightly. What we're going to focus on the road as an underdog, last game of a series so far this year, 0-3 straight up, 1-2 on the run line. The under is 3-0. So not a great number when they're a road dog last game of a series. They're 0-3. That's the scenario that they do have today. How about in day games? Day games so far this year, the Twins in day games are 17-13, specifically day games on the road. Twins are 9-7 straight up, 10-6 on the run line. The under is 10-6. So we at least have something to believe in terms of that run line there. But again, how about during day games as a road dog? 0-6. So the Twins have been really bad in road dog situations, either last game of a series or in day games. That trend kind of stands out to me. Twins 0-6 in day games as an away dog. The under, by the way, is 5-1. Under's been coming in as a very good trend for a number of the things we've just looked up. Let's flip it on over and let's look at it from the Astros point of view. Astros, last game of a series at home, 5-4 straight up, 6-3 on the run line. Over-under has split at 4-4-1. How about his home favorites last game of a series? Astros are 5-2 straight up, 5-2 on the run line. Over's been better at 4-2-1. So that certainly stands out to me. The fact that the Astros have been a good home favorite last game of a series. Twins have been a bad road dog last game of a series, so there's discrepancy there. How about looking at day games at home for the Houston Astros? So far this year, day games at home, 4-5 straight up, 5-4 on the run line, 4-4-1. Home favorite in day games so far this year, 4-3 straight up, 4-3 on the run line, Over-under favors the over at 4, 2, and 1. It's getting harder and harder for me to kind of follow the money the way everyone else is. A lot of the trends right now are really backing the Astros on the money line. Let's take a look at the two starting pitchers. Maybe there's something to be taken from that. Looking first at the Twins starting pitcher, Simeon. Woods Richardson is on the mound for the Minnesota Twins. He's made 8 starts this year. Twins are 6-2 in those 8 starts. Part of the reason I'm sure the money's coming down on him. On the run line, 5-3. Good note there. Unders 5-3 as well. Looking at the other side of the lineup card, Hunter Brown on the mound for the Houston Astros. Wow. Astros are 2-6 in his starts, 0-10 on the run line. Now we understand why the market's placed where it is. It's really about the starting pitchers. Simeon, Woods, Richardson, 6-2 straight up in his starts, 5-3 on the run line. Hunter Brown, Astros are 2-8 straight up, 0-10 on the run line. Now I understand why. So that kind of flattens out some of the trends we saw related to the teams. Here's my concern. The Twins are 0-6 in day games as a road dog. That stands out to me. If you want to take the Twins at +1.5, I'm certainly okay with it. But I'm kind of split between the Twins are bad in day games as a road dog, and Hunter Brown, the Astros have been bad in his starts. So I'm not getting a lot of certainty from either side of it. This is a game I'll probably avoid because the trends are split, pretty much favoring each team depending on the scenario. So I'm going to avoid this one. If I had to go in one direction, if you put a water gun up to my ear and said I'll squirt, if you don't give me a pick, I would say I'd take Astros on the money line. I'd take the Twins +1.5. I probably like the Twins +1.5, maybe slightly more, but not really. This is a game in which I absolutely am kind of backing away from, recognizing that the trends are working against me. That said, if you do like following the money, this is an opportunity to take the underdog. Twins, you can get them at obviously plus money as an underdog on the money line. The money likes that. There's something to be said for that. The fact that there are some trends that back that and the market backs that. If you're looking for the best return on the investment, it would be Twins on the money line. Personally, I think Twins +1.5 at -165 is still a pretty good clip to get them at. Appreciate you guys joining the show. Again, we are not on TikTok today. We have a 4-day suspension from TikTok for talking sports betting. Who knew? I see so many accounts that talk sports betting. Who knew that TikTok was going to behave that way? So anyways, we're on Instagram Live, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, preparing for a post-TikTok world, which we'll probably live in about 8, 10, 12 months anyways. So if you guys love the content, love the conversation, make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you join us every time we go live. Love talking sports with you. Obviously love talking sports betting and fantasy sports. We're getting ready for the fantasy football season. We have actually begun the process of evaluating each player and what their value is pertaining to auction drafts, what rounds they should go in, what their value is based on projections of how they're going to perform this year. We have started modeling those. I started doing that a little bit earlier this week. So excited to talk fantasy football. That's just around the corner. Deck 77, you've got another one for us. You're taking the Stars +1.5. I promised we'd talk some puck. Let's get into it now that we've covered that 1 o'clock day baseball game. We'll get to player prop bets in a little bit for baseball, but first, let's jump on over to the NHL and let's talk about what could be the final NHL game before the Stanley Cup final. First things first, I do want to look at how these two teams have performed under the circumstances that they're playing in tonight. As a reminder, Stars are at Oilers tonight. The market, depending on where you look, is favoring each team. So 80% of the tickets are on the Oilers to win, but 36% of the money is on the Stars to win. So the money is outpacing the Oilers a little bit when it comes to money line Stars. As for the spread, 65% of the tickets are on the Stars to cover +1.5, while 85% of the money is on the Oilers. This isn't too surprising because if you think the Oilers are going to win, the likelihood that they win by a second goal because the desperation of a closeout game and empty net could provide an opportunity to take Oilers at -1.5 at +180, +190 kind of money. So it could be a really good spot to take them, but we'll have to see based on the trends we look at. First things first, though, we're going to look at how these two teams have performed against each other in these locations. So when the Stars have played against the Oilers in Edmonton, let's say since 2001, how have they performed? The Stars are 3-3 straight up. One trend that comes out of this, the over is 5-1. Total set for this game is 5.5. So let's keep our eye on that as we continue to look at trends across this game. Setting it back to this year, because now we're going to make it a few more relevant trends. First, we'll look at how the Stars have performed after a home loss, and then they go on the road and they're an away dog. So after a home loss, when they follow that up and they're an away dog, they're 0-2 straight up. Not a good look. Obviously, that's the case tonight. Over-under split at 1-1. Again, that's when the Stars are coming off a home loss this year, and then their next game, they're an away underdog, 0-2. 0-2. Let's flip it around, and let's look at how the Edmonton Oilers have been under that same scenario. When the Oilers are coming off an away win, and then they're a home favorite the following game. So far this year, the Oilers are 11-2. Sorry, Dallas fans, this is not looking good. Over has gone 7-4-2 in those 13 games that the Oilers have played at home as a favorite after an away win the previous game. That stands out to me because if we're building our hypothesis and then challenging that against some of the trends that we're experimenting with, right now we're kind of buying into Oilers on the money line, and the over 5.5 is standing out. By the way, really interesting to note, the average goal score, the average total team scoring for the Oilers in those 13 games after an away win as a playing as a home favorite the following game, they're averaging 5 goals per game in those. 5 goals per game. And their only 2 losses came against the Canucks and came against the Bruins, 2 good teams. One of those required overtime. That was against the Boston Bruins. So definitely a trend that we like. We're going to dive into a few more, but that's certainly something that stands out. Stars, I want to just see how they've performed. They're coming off of, I believe, back-to-back losses. So coming off of back-to-back losses so far this year, Stars are 8-3 straight up. The under's been a very good play at 8-3 as well. That takes a hit on both of the trends we were looking at a moment ago. But I'm just going to look at them when they go on the road. 6-2 straight up. 6-2 favoring the under. So at least the losses are coming on the road. Specifically as an away dog. Wow. So Stars, after back-to-back losses, playing as an away dog, just 1-1. So all of a sudden, that 11-2 mark slims down. Not a great spot. The under's been 2-0 in that scenario. Again, flipping it over, we'll look at it from the Oilers standpoint. Oilers are coming off back-to-back wins. When they are coming off back-to-back wins, and then they're at home the following game, 17-4 straight up. Under's been slightly better at 10-9-2. That overplay that I was getting excited about starting to dim a little bit. Oilers is a home favorite, still 17-4. How about away? That was an away win. That was a home win. Or both of those were away wins, right? Yeah, both of those were were they? Which game is this? So we're looking at Stars, we're looking at Oilers, we're diving into some of the trends. Right now, I'm going to stand on this. I'm going to go Oilers on the money line. Oilers on the money line will actually be the first pick we put up on the board. Again, I do think there's some value on Oilers minus 1.5. I do think there's value there. So if you're looking for plays that you want to just get a little bit more return on the investment, I'd be okay with Oilers minus 1.5. I'm not going to put that up on the big board. Don't have enough confidence in it necessarily, but still feel like it's a pretty good play. Appreciate you guys being with us. What do you think about the Brewers today? Let's dive back into baseball, everybody. Now that we've covered the NHL, we're going to avoid that total, by the way. Not enough trends backing that one. Let's get into that White Sox and Brewers game. Not surprising here, the money is coming down heavily on the Brewers. 93% of the tickets, 99% of the money on the Brewers to win. Also on the run line, 96% of the money, or 96% of the tickets are on Milwaukee to cover a -1.5, 92% of the money. Let's take a look at the White Sox point of view on things. White Sox, when they've played last game of a series on the road so far this year, they are 2-6 straight up, 3-5 on the run line. Over's been better at 5-3. Now, let's look at them in day games on the road. Another one for you, day games on the road. White Sox are 2-8 straight up, 3-7 on the run line. The 2 wins both came against the Cardinals, by the way, in those day games on the road. Last game of a series for the White Sox on the road. The only 2 wins came against the Cardinals, came against the Rays. When the White Sox have played on the road against a right-handed starting pitcher, which they will today in Freddie Peralta, White Sox this year are 2-19. The White Sox are 2-19 straight up when they're on the road against a right-handed starting pitcher. The only times this year, again, we talked about it a moment ago, that they overcame that. Once was against the Cardinals, once was against the Rays. Other than that, and by the way, that came in the same 3-day stretch. Other than that, they are 0-19 outside of those 2 games. Really, outside of that one weekend, they're 0-18 under this scenario. Over-under's been flat at 11-10. One thing to note, though, is on the run line, White Sox are 5-16 on the road against a right-handed starting pitcher. So because of that, if you do like the Brewers, you may want to consider them at -1.5. Right now, Brewers on the money line is -300. I'm going to put it on the board so you guys know it. But that said, it's a parlay play. If you're looking for more value, maybe it's on the run line. Let's check out the Brewers side of things. When the Brewers are in the last game of a series and they're at home so far this year, they're 5-3 straight up, only 4-4 on the run line. Over's been slightly better at 5-3 as home favorites under that scenario. Here you go, 4-1 straight up, 3-2 on the run line. So when the Brewers play the last game of a series and they're a home favorite, 4-1 straight up. The only loss was to the Cardinals. It was a 1-run loss. Interesting to note, again, 3-2 on the run line. In games they won, they're 3-1 on the run line, so that certainly stands out as well. Taking a look at how the Brewers have performed in day games so far this year at home. Brewers in a day game at home, 8-3 straight up. Love that. So Brewers on the money line, feel good about it. Run line, not as good. 5-6 on the run line in day games. However, they've won their last 4 in a row in that scenario, and they've covered the run line in 3 of those last 4. Let's take a look at how they've done against right-handed starting pitching at home. So far this year, Brewers are just 12-9 at home against a right-handed starter. 8-13 on the run line. Over's been better. I actually want to check one thing out. When they've played at home against an opponent who has a sub 500 winning percentage, how have they played against the lesser opponents in the league? 12 at home, just 12-7 straight up, 9-10 on the run line. So again, not as good as I would have expected. Now, a majority of those losses did come in April. They've only had 3 losses since the start of May at home against a sub 500 opponent, but that certainly stands out. How about when it's the last game of a series at home against a sub 500 opponent, 4-2 straight up, 4-2 on the run line? Again, wish that maybe was a little bit better. How about in day games at home against a sub 500 opponent? 5-2 straight up, 4-3 on the run line. So as much as I want to, I'm not seeing enough to actually put up on the big board. Brewers -1.5. I will say there's value to it, but I'm not going to put it up on the board myself. Appreciate you guys joining the show. If you do have a question, write in your comments, write in your questions. I know it's not like TikTok where we have our normal barrage of questions coming in that entertain us and keep us going, but I'm still very much here to help you guys out. Danny Chen, have Henderson, Mount Council, Rutschman, Adamas, and Lindor over 1.5 bases. Wow, so you're expecting a lot of offense in that Orioles game, in that Orioles and Rays game. Just so you know, the weather for the Orioles and Rays is supported by extra base hits. Likelihood of extra base hits is up 3%. Likelihood of hits is up 10%. That's actually the second best percentage on overall hits across all of baseball. The only other game that has a better likelihood of overall singles or hits is the Padres and Royals game. So I think you're up to something. Splash City, what's good, Splash City? Hope you're having a great Sunday. You're asking about the Guardians. Let's go check them out. Guardians, by the way, really interesting. I'm going to pull this one up. Some of you may go, this is just a random stat. I'm not going to disagree with you, but sometimes the random stats are the most fun. On Sundays, I look at this almost every day. How have teams performed on each day of the week? When it comes to the run line, the Guardians are actually the 4th best team in baseball on the run line on Sundays. They're 6-2, as well as straight up. They are 6-2 straight up on Sundays, the 4th best winning percentage on Sundays. And when it comes to a profit on the run line, a run line profit, the Guardians are the 3rd best team in baseball. Here's the only joke. The 2nd best on Sundays is the Nationals. And I bring that up, obviously, because who are the Nationals playing? The Guardians. So 2 teams that perform very well on Sundays, given the circumstances that they have. Now, what's the market for this game? 87% of the tickets are on the Guardians to win, but 99% of the money is on the Guardians to win. Clearly, the market really likes Cleveland. Let's see if the trends back it as well. Just one quick note. There is a little bit of money coming down on the Nationals plus 1.5. When it comes to tickets, the Nationals plus 1.5, it is only getting 2%. But when it comes to the money, 17%. I think a few bettors know the Nationals are better on Sundays than people think, so there may be some value there. Just keep your eye on it. This may be one of those times where we take one team on the money line, one team on the run line, so we'll have to see if that works out, but just be aware of it. Let's dive into the trends. Let's look at the Nationals. Nationals, last game of a series on the road so far this year, 3-7 straight up, but 6-4 on the run line. Again, fits into the hypothesis that we started with. Guardians money line, Nationals plus 1.5. This fits it. Under's been slightly better at 6-4. What's interesting is the scoring difference, 4.5 to 3 runs. Again, kind of fits the model we're going for here. But 3-7 on the run, straight up, but 6-4 on the run line. Have the Nationals been in day games on the road? 7-10 straight up, but 11-6 on the run line. A lot of reason to believe in them. Now on the run line, decent over the last 5 games. How about as an away dog in day games? So far this year, 5-10 straight up, 9-6 on the run line. Last game of a series as a road dog, 3-7, 6-4 as we expected. Now they're facing a right-handed starter. How have they performed on the road against a right-handed starting pitcher? Nationals so far this year, 10-13 straight up, 14-9 on the run line. So once again, we're seeing a similar trend start to build, some consistency here. We're seeing Guardians money line, Nationals plus 1.5. Does that back itself up when we flip on over to the Guardians side of things? Guardians, last game of a series at home so far this year, 8-0. 8-0 straight up, 6-2 on the run line, over under is 5-3. You can't get better than an undefeated streak. Guardians are 8-0 straight up at home last game of a series. How have they been in day games at home so far this year? Guardians day games at home, 9-1 straight up, 9-2 on the run line. The only loss they had was to the Yankees. It was the 3-2 loss that came back on April 13th. Guardians on the money line, everybody. They are going to be the next one that makes the big board. Guardians on the money line. The trend's just way too strong in their favor. Now let's look at the starting pitchers because we still want to solve whether we like the Nationals plus 1.5. There still may be some value there. Carlos Carrasco at home so far this year. 1-2 straight up, 2-1 on the run line. Under's been a better play at 2-0-1. Jake Irvin on the mound for the Nationals. How have they performed so far this year with Jake Irvin on the mound? Let's take a look. Jake Irvin has made 11 starts. The Nationals are 2-9 in his starts. Guardians on the money line. That is definitely one of the plays that we really feel good about. Every trend we've looked at backs it. The marketplace backs it. We really like Guardians on the money line, folks. Guardians on the money line. Guardians on the money line we really, really like. On the run line, Jake Irvin 5-6 on the run line. The Nationals have lost their last 5 games in a row with Jake Irvin on the mound. Taking a look specifically on the road when Jake Irvin's been on the mound, 2-5 straight up, so he's actually been even worse at home. He's been slightly better on the road. On the run line, the Nationals are actually 4-3 on the run line in his starts. Very tight games, too. Average scoring margin has been 2.8 to 2.7. So there is some value, I think, on Nationals plus 1.5, maybe even plus 2, plus 2.5, if there's a market for it. Nationals plus 2, maybe you do a same game parlay. Guardians money line, Nationals plus 2.5, something like that. But for the moment, I just like Guardians on the money line. That's the play that I like the most. We'll dive into some player prop bets in just a little bit. But first things first, I want to continue to focus on some of these game picks. Someone was asking about the Red Sox game. Don't worry, NY. We'll get to the Phillies in just a moment. But there was someone asking about the Red Sox game a little bit earlier. Tigers and Red Sox, want to touch on that. Now, the marketplace, Red Sox are getting 85% of the tickets, but only 65% of the money. So there's money coming down on the Tigers. There's some interest there. Tigers are plus 130 on the money line, so there is some value. Interesting to know. Now, I brought it up a moment ago. The best team in baseball on Sundays is the Boston Red Sox. I don't know what deal they've made with the good Lord, but 9-0 so far on Sundays. Obviously, they're the best on straight-up profit as well. If you put down $100 every time the Red Sox played on a Sunday so far this year, you'd be up $990. So the Red Sox have certainly been strong. Does that mean that they're overplaying on, kind of, is the pendulum swung all the way to one side and is it due to swing back? Potentially, but when we see a trend of that size, of that sample size, especially in baseball, we certainly take note. Now on Sundays, the Red Sox are only 5-4 on the run line. So that's very interesting too. Despite being 9-0, they're 5-4 on the run line. And specifically on Sundays at home, even though the Red Sox are 4-0, by the way, Guardians are 4-0 at home on Sundays as well. We just talked about them, so certainly love that. But while the Red Sox are 4-0 straight up on Sundays, they're 0-4 on the run line. So I bring that up because we like the Red Sox money line. We like the Tigers plus 1.5. That's the hypothesis we start with because that's even the trend we start with. By the way, how have the Tigers done on Sundays? 2-3 on the run line, 3-2 straight up. Obviously not as good as the Red Sox. It's the Red Sox trend that kind of has our attention. By the way, that's the wrong thing to look at for the Tigers. Tigers on the road on Sundays so far this year, 1-3 on the run line, 2-2 straight up. So that's what mattered. Let me take a sip. Okay, let's get into some trends. When the Tigers are playing the last game of a series on the road as a dog so far this year, Tigers are 2-5 straight up, 4-3 on the run line. Tigers have lost their last 4 straight games under this scenario. The overs hit in every one of those. The overs 4-3 last game of a series when the Tigers are a road dog. How about when the Tigers play in a day game on the road so far this year? Under that scenario, Tigers are 6-8 straight up, 6-8 on the run line. Over's been slightly better at 8-5-1. Here's one trend that really stands out. Tigers have lost their last 6 straight games on the road in a day game. So their last 6 straight day games on the road, they have lost all 6 of them. Also interesting, the over has hit in all 6 of them. So if we're building a hypothesis right now, Red Sox on the money line and the over has some momentum to it. Let's look at it from the Red Sox side of things and see if those trends hold. Obviously, Red Sox on the money line is going to hold pretty well given how they performed on Sundays. But how about last game of a series at home so far this year? Here you go. Red Sox are 4-4 straight up. Last game of a series at home, they are 0-8 on the run line. The Red Sox are 0-8 on the run line. They have yet to cover the run line at home last game of a series. That really stands out to me. One hell of a trend right there. Over-under has been slightly better towards the under at 5-3. So again, we started out by saying Red Sox money line, Tigers plus 1.5. Those are very much holding true based on what we've looked at so far. How about the Red Sox in a day game at home? How have they performed? 7-5 straight up? Check. 4-8 on the run line? Check. The under's been slightly better at 4-8. How have the Red Sox performed at home against a right-handed starting pitcher? Red Sox so far this year, 10-9 straight up, 7-12 on the run line. Under's been slightly better at 11, 7, and 1. I wanted to look at the Tigers when they play on the road against a right-handed starting pitcher. So far this year, 10-12 straight up, 12-10 on the run line. Over's been slightly better over's been much better at 14, 7, and 1. One thing to note, likelihood of runs is up. The weather in Boston is fantastic. I'm actually in Massachusetts right now. A gorgeous day for baseball. Likelihood of home runs up 4% at Fenway Park. Likelihood of extra base hits up 23%. And likelihood of overall runs up 16% at Fenway Park. So the conditions are perfect for scoring. I'm going to put this one up on the board. This is what I've got for this game. I have Red Sox on the money line. I have the Tigers plus 1.5. And I'm going to take Red Sox and I'm going to take Tigers and I'm going to take the over. Red Sox and Tigers, I am going to go over. Before I put that up though, I'm going to stop myself. I want to check on these 2 starting pitchers before I do that. How has Casey Mize done this year? 6-4 straight up, 5-5 on the run line, over under at 5-5 on the road. Over's been slightly better at 3-2. One of the things I was kind of looking for, Brian Bayo. Red Sox, when Bayo's been on the mound, are 7-2 this year, 4-5 on the run line. Over's been better at 6-2. Exactly what I wanted to see, every one of those trends. How about Brian Bayo at home so far this year? 2-1 straight up, 0-3 on the run line. Under is 0-2-1 at home. I'm still going to go with the over though. So here's what I'm going to do. I don't like it at the 9. 9 seems a little bit too high for me. I'm going to take the over 8. This opened at 9, came down to 8.5, went back up to 9. I'll take the over 8. Over 8 for this one. Red Sox and Tigers over 8. If it hits 8, it's a push. I get my money back. So I'll take the 8, and I think it does hit 9 runs. Now, a couple folks are asking about player prop bets. Let's do some player prop bet work. Our player prop bets have been doing well, but that's because we're sticking to a criteria. It's not because we're being cocky, arrogant. It's not because we have magic powers. The thing that we care most about is looking at how does a hitter do against that starting pitcher, because that's the pitcher they're going to get the most at-bats against, so we have the greatest opportunity to really understand the data behind that. Then it's the righty-lefty split that we often look at. That's what is kind of second most important to us. Then we look at home road splits. So when those three things all line up in the same direction, we often take that bet. Starting with the Astros and the Twins against Hunter Brown, Max Kepler has good numbers, only 1 for 2 against him, small sample size, but against right-handed starting pitcher, Max Kepler is hitting .267. I know that doesn't seem high, but that's actually the best batting average of any Minnesota Twin against a right-handed starting pitcher. Let's take a look at Max Kepler. Max Kepler over half a hit. He's only gotten a hit in 5 of his last 10 games overall against a right-handed starting pitcher, though. 6 of his last 10, and specifically on the road. He actually has a hit in 8 of his last 10 games against a right-handed starting pitcher on the road. That actually is really 8 out of his last 9. He didn't get a hit 2 days ago, but prior to that, he had an 8-game hit streak under this scenario. I like Max Kepler over half a hit. I'll put that one up on the board. Max Kepler over half a hit. I know this is one where, would I like him to have a higher batting average against right-handed starting pitchers this year? Yes, I wish it were closer to 300 as opposed to, around 267. But that said, that's the best batting average of any hitter on the Twins lineup against a right-handed starter. As for the Astros, no history against the Twins starting pitcher, so you're just basing it on how they've done against right-handed starting pitchers this year. Jose Altuve is not in the starting lineup, I don't believe. Let me actually take a quick look to see if that lineup has been set. Should be. It is. Starting lineup for this game. No Jose Altuve. Jose Altuve is not in the lineup, okay, folks? Jose Altuve not in the lineup. So, Myers has the best batting average against right-handed starting pitchers this year, 320. Jake Myers, over half a hit. We care about the over half a hit, not the under. Over half a hit's available. He's gotten a hit in 7 of his last 10 games overall against a right-handed starter. 8 of his last 10. Love seeing that at home. 7 of his last 10. 6 of his last 7. I'd take Jake Myers over half a hit as well. Jake Myers over half a hit. So those are 2 players we like for that early game, the first game of the day, first pitch at 1:05. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are loving the content, loving the conversation. Appreciate you guys jumping over and watching us on Instagram Live, watching us on YouTube, watching us on Twitch and Kick. I know no TikTok because TikTok suspended us for talking sports betting. You know what? If TikTok is going to kick us off for talking sports betting, I guess that's what's going to happen because we love talking sports betting. And as you notice, what we really love talking is sports betting research. That's actually why I am disappointed our appeal didn't succeed because I don't think of us as a sports betting app. I think of us as a research channel. So happy to be here. No matter the platform we're on, great to have you with us. John, love having you with us as always. John's one of our most loyal viewers, but at this point, Joe, Warren, Ricky, Danny, Caesar, we've got a lot of loyals who are watching the show today. So excited to have you guys with us. Let's get over to a few other player prop bets for some of the games we have covered already. Some folks were talking about Rays and Orioles player prop bets. Against Cole Irvin, Randy Arozarena, good numbers. Yandy Diaz, good numbers. That certainly stands out to me. Rosario, good numbers as well. Rosario hitting 292 against him. Yandy Diaz, 278. If Yandy Diaz were over half a hit, I would take it. Ahmed Rosario's 1.5, don't like that. Yandy Diaz is 1.5, don't like that. Randy Arozarena's over half a hit. Against a right-handed starting pitcher on the road. He does have a hit in 6 of his last 10 games. He does have a good history against this starting pitcher as well. So if you want to take Randy Arozarena, I get it. Not going to put that one up on the board simply because he doesn't have good numbers against left-handed pitching. Oh, it's left-handed pitcher, forgive me. Against left-handed pitching this year. Here you go, though. Randy Arozarena on the road has a hit in 8 of his last 10 games against the left-handed starter. I like Randy Arozarena a whole lot more than I did before. Keep your eye on that one. There might be value to that, actually. Let's look at it from the Orioles side of things. Austin Hayes has good numbers against him, but terrible numbers against right-handed starters so far this year. Really, the only player that I would even consider for this game might be Ryan Mountcastle, but I really don't like actually the lineups in this one. Randy Arozarena, funny enough, has some value to him, just given how he's performed of late. Gunnar Henderson's always a good play. Adley Rutschman may be a good play. Those are 2 players that stand out. But according to how we go about our research for the Orioles and the Rays game, there are no hitters that we're actually gaga about. trying to jump on board with. Adley Rutschman and again Gunnar Henderson might be ones we would take, but that's more based on reputation. I don't like giving those ones out. Next game we talked about was Tigers and Red Sox. Let's look at this one for a player prop bet. Jarren Duran over 1.5 hits runs, over 1.5 hits. Wish it were a little bit better, because if it were over half a hit, he's 1 for 3 in his career against Casey Mize, but that one hit was a home run against right-handed pitching this year, hitting .269. As everyone knows, Devers is hitting .295 against Casey Mize, though 0 for 4. So he doesn't have the history against Casey Mize. You might still be willing to take him. Gio Urshela is over 1.5 hits at this point. He's been a very consistent play for the Tigers, but that's not a good market. The player I really like is Riley Green. Riley Green. So against Brian Bayo, Riley Green, 2 for 3. I know it's a small sample size, but at least we have that. Against right-handed starting pitching, hitting .264. Wish it were a little bit higher, but actually that's the third best average of any hitter on the Tigers lineup against a right-handed starter. And specifically against right-handed pitching, he has a hit in 4 of his last 5 games, 5 of his last 6. And on the road, he has a hit in 7 of his last 10 games. So Riley Green is another player that I actually am going to put up on the board. Riley Green, over half a hit. Again, you could consider Devers. I also think Abreu could be a good one, but I'm going to take Riley Green over half a hit. That's the play I'll go with for the Red Sox game. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are loving the content and the conversation. Make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're with us every time we go live. Yeah, I know the hair's a little off. I need to get a haircut. It's getting a little wavy, and I actually had some dental surgery, and the swelling still hasn't come down. Not thrilled about that, but the teeth look great. Great job by Dr. Julie Mitchell. The swelling, though, definitely feeling the effects of it. Got a couple of people asking some questions over on YouTube, so let's get to those. Some folks have been asking about that Phillies game for a while, so let's talk about that Phillies and Cardinals game. Last game of the night, Sunday Night Baseball. 88% of the tickets are on the Phillies to win, but 99% of the money is on the Phillies to win. The run line, both the tickets and the money are backing the Phillies. The over is also getting support of the money, even though the over is at 9.5. Let's take a look at how the Cardinals have done. We'll start our trends with the Cardinals. Cardinals, when they are playing last game of a series on the road as an underdog, 2-4 straight up, 4-2 on the run line. Under has actually been undefeated, 5-0-1 when Cardinals are in the last game of a series on the road as an underdog. Before I actually jump into other things involving the Cardinals, let's take a look at Lance Lynn. So far this year, when Lance Lynn has towed the rubber for St. Louis, they're 5-6 straight up, 5-6 on the run line, 5-6 favoring the under slightly. When he's pitched on the road, they're 2-4 straight up, 1-5 on the run line, over under split at 3-3. But that 2-4 is a little deceiving. Lance Lynn, when he's pitched, the Cardinals have lost their last 4 straight starts with him on the mound, and actually they failed to cover the run line in all 4 games. So not only are Cardinals struggling with him on the mound there, but again, failing to cover the run line. Let's flip on over really quick to the Phillies side of things before we jump back to the Cardinals. Phillies, last game of a series at home so far this year, 6-4 straight up, 5-5 on the run line, 6-4, favoring the over, just slightly home favorite under that scenario, 5-4, 4-5, 5-4. However, they've won 5 of their last 7 games at home as a favorite last game of a series. Let's go back. Cardinals, when they're an away dog and they're facing a right-handed starter on the mound, 8-10 straight up, 10-6 on the run line. Under continues to be a strong play at 9-5-2. Phillies side of things, when the Phillies are a home favorite and the opposing pitcher is a right-handed starter, 16-3. The Philadelphia Phillies are 16-3 at home as a favorite when they face a right-handed starting pitcher, 12-7 straight up, 10-8-1 on the run line. They've won their last 5 games in a row in this scenario. In fact, they have won 14 of their last 15 games, 14 of their last 15 games under this scenario. A phenomenal trend. Phenomenal trend. It's even better than that because they won this game yesterday that isn't being marked here. Wow. Okay, let's throw Taijuan Walker under the microscope. How have the Phillies performed when Taijuan Walker has been the starting pitcher for the Fightin' Phils? 4-2 straight up, 3-3 on the run line. Here's one important note for all those that like the over, and a number of you do. When Taijuan Walker is pitched this year, the over is 6-0. Over is 6-0. I like the Phillies on the money line. Phillies on the money line is getting my attention. Phillies on the money line. The over's getting my attention as well. Again, Taijuan Walker is playing into that quite heavily. I'm going to take the over as well. I'm going to take Cardinals, and I'll take Phillies, and I'm going to go over. The over-under set at 9.5. You guys know I buy it. I'll move this. This opened at 9, came down to 8.5, then has jumped to 9.5. Kind of interesting there. I'll take the over 8. By the way, 7.5 is a good play for a parlay play. Over 7.5 for a parlay play. Let me recap the picks we've put up on the board so far during the show. Our one NHL pick of the night, we are taking the Oilers on the money line tonight. We have the Oilers winning and closing out the series tonight. Oilers on the money line. Our baseball picks are Brewers on the money line, Guardians on the money line, Red Sox on the money line, but we are taking Tigers plus 1.5. We're also taking the Red Sox and Tigers over 8 runs. We're going Phillies on the money line, and we're going Cardinals and Phillies over 8, and if you're looking for a parlay, over 7.5. So far, we have 2 parlay plays up on the board, Brewers on the money line and Cardinals Phillies over 7.5. Couple player prop bets we have on the board for you. Max Kepler over half a hit, Jake Myers over half a hit, and Riley Green over half a hit. Those are the 3 player prop bets we have up there so far. Let's go to another one though. Cardinals and Phillies. So, Mason Wynn, his hitting streak came to an end. He had been so hot, he doesn't have a hit in his last 2 games. Important note, prior to this stretch, this season, he's only twice gone stretches where he's gone back-to-back games without a hit. Now, he did have a 4-game stretch without a hit, but and that launched this hitting streak. So there is a little bit of value on Mason Wynn over half a hit, just because this season, he hasn't gone 3 games without a hit more than once. It's only happened 1 time, so there's some value there. Taijuan Walker has never faced him. Mason Wynn against a right-handed starter is hitting .324. So Mason Wynn over half a hit, that is one I definitely keep my eye on. There's a lot of value there. Now against Taijuan Walker, Paul Goldschmidt has really good numbers. He's 5 for 10 lifetime with a home run, but only hitting .210 so far this year against right-handed starting pitching. Let's dive into Paul Goldschmidt, though, a little bit more. He has been hitting much better against right-handed starting pitching of late. He has a hit in 7 of his last 10 games on the road. 7 of his last 10. I don't have a problem with Paul Goldschmidt over half a hit as well. How about Lance Lynn? Alex Bohm is hitting 3 for 4 lifetime against Lance Lynn. He's hitting .322 against right-handed starting pitching. You're not going to get Alex Bohm over half a hit. But over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, that's what I would take, and that's what I'm going to put up on the board. Alec Bohm over 1.5 hits, plus runs, plus RBIs. That's what I'm putting up on the board for the Phillies game. I like that because not only does the matchup work for him against Lance Lynn, but against right-handed starting pitching so far this year as well. Nick Castellanos also hits Lance Lynn very well, but the problem is only hitting .200 against right-handed starting pitching this year. Brandon Marsh, we've been riding Brandon Marsh. He's been a hot hand of late. He's only 1 for 5 lifetime against Lance Lynn. He is hitting .300, .301 against righties, so you could consider Brandon Marsh. I don't like him enough I wish he had 2 hits against Lance Lynn. That would probably put me over the top, actually. It's that small a margin. So if you want Brandon Marsh, I get it. You could consider it. In fact, a good same-game parlay could be Alec Boehm over half a hit, Brandon Marsh over half a hit, Mason Wynn over half a hit, Paul Goldschmidt over half a hit. Those 4 players in same-game parlays, in 2, 3, 4-leg parlays, could be actually a really good play, especially if we do like the over. If we think there's going to be runs, we think there's going to be hits, not a bad way of approaching it, actually. I'd highly recommend that. That's actually something I haven't done yet that I'm going to do once I jump off the air. So, a couple more picks that we put up on the board. Hope you guys are enjoying the content. Hope you're having a great day. Can you compare the batters against the pitchers on that St. Louis game? We just took care of that. Kyle Klein, any no run in the first inning plays today? No run in the first inning. Well, first things first, I actually do like a run in the first inning for this Cardinals and Phillies game. So Cardinals, Phillies, yes to a run in the first inning. I think there's going to be some offense here early in that one. So Cardinals, Phillies, yes to a run in the first inning. If I had a no run in the first inning play, Yankees and Giants is probably the one. Yankees, Giants, no run in the first inning. Yankees, Giants, no run in the first inning. The other one would be Reds and Cubs, no run in the first inning. So we do have 3 run first inning plays. Cardinals, Phillies, yes. Cardinals, Phillies, yes to a run in the first inning. Yankees, Giants, no. Yankees, Giants, no to a run in the first inning. And Reds, Cubs, no to a run in the first inning. Those are the 3 that really stand out. I think White Sox and Brewers, there could be a run in the first inning as well. White Sox and Brewers, yes to a run in the first inning. I do actually think that one probably cashes as well. In fact, I'll put that one up on the board. I think it's going to hit, so I'll put it up on the board. We'll take White Sox and Brewers. I'm going to say yes to a run the first inning. So we have 2 YRFI plays and 2 NRFI plays. White Sox, Brewers, yes. Cardinals, Phillies, yes. Yankees, Giants, no. Reds and Cubs, no. Only other game that I would consider, that Tigers and Red Sox game, that's one I could see a run in the first inning as well. Red Sox and Tigers, I could see one there as well. So, keep your eye on that one additionally. Appreciate the questions, guys. Hope you're having a great day. Appreciate you guys watching on Instagram Live, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. I know the TikTok experience is the norm for most of you folks, but appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to watch us on these other platforms as we serve our suspension from TikTok. Ridiculous. Maybe we'll just have to only do fantasy football content on TikTok and maybe do only sports betting content on YouTube and Instagram. I wouldn't love that, but if we had to, I'd do it. Whatever way we can continue to come to you guys live every single day. Folks are asking me about the Braves and the Athletics game. So this one burned me yesterday. I was so heavily on the Braves. The Chris Sale trends were phenomenal. And the A's just totally rocked his world. Put up a ton of runs. The money's heavily coming down on the Braves. Not surprising there. Really quick, let's look at it. When the Athletics are on the road as an underdog against a right-handed starter, they actually 8-14 straight up. They're 12-10 on the run line. Something that doesn't get talked about enough is they're 12-10 on the run line. However, they have had a terrible stretch over the last month and a half. A little bit less than that, actually, about the last 3 weeks. So since May 12th, 2, 4, 6, 8, they've played about 10 games over their last 2-3 weeks against a right-handed starter as a road dog. They have just one win. Just one win under that time. Came against the Rays. On the other side of things, how have the Braves done? Braves at home is a favorite when they have a right-handed starting pitcher on the mound. Wow, 9-9 straight up. They're 5-13 straight up. Or 5-13 on the run line. The Braves have only covered the run line twice in their last 6 games with a right-handed starter on the mound. They've only won 1 of their last 5 under that scenario. That's crazy. How about coming off a loss, though? when they lost the previous game. They're 7-2 straight up. 7-2 straight up. So I'm going to take Braves on the money line. They're a very heavy they're a very heavy favorite play, so that would be a parlay play. But I am going to take Braves on the money line. The trends are going to back this one. But if you told me that the if you told me the A's like covered the spread somehow again, I might believe you. Here's the only problem. Starting pitcher for them is Luis Medina. He has no starts this year. Hasn't pitched yet. But last year, he was 4-13 overall. And specifically, when Luis Medina pitched on the road last year, he was 1-7. So if we go by last year's performance, Braves, very heavy play on the money line. How about Charlie Morton this year? Charlie Morton, when that team is at home this year, they're just 1-4 with him on the mound, 1-4 on the run line. Wow. Lot of reason for me to kind of believe the A's could cover the run line here. So here you go. When Charlie Morton pitches the day after the Braves lose, they're 2-0 straight up, and they're 2-0 on the run line. That's going to knock out my Athletics cover play. So I'll take Braves on the money line, play it pretty safe. I do like that one quite a bit, though. When I looked at this earlier, I didn't see too many player prop bets I like, but let's pull it up anyways. Against Charlie Morton, not a lot of history. One thing I'd say is Miguel Andujar is just raking against right-handed pitching right now. He's hitting .409. Problem is, he's just 1 for 6 lifetime against Charlie Morton. Brent Rooker, we've been riding the hot hand of him lately. He's been very good as well. Keep your eye on Brent Rooker. From a Braves point of view, the one player I actually went with was Jared Kelenic. He's 1 for 3 lifetime against right-handed starting pitching this year. He's hitting .269. Pulling up Kelenic, over half a hit. He has a hit in 8 of his last 10 games against overall against a right-handed starter. He has a hit in 6 of his last 7 games at home. He has a hit in 6 of his last 10, 3 of his last 4. So I'm not as crazy actually about the player prop bets in the Braves and A's game. Brent Rooker, Jared Kelenic, Marcell Ozuna, you could certainly talk me into for over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. The problem is it's not available. Over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs is not available. Over 1.5 total bases is, but hasn't been nearly as good. It's been a decent trend. 6 out of his last 8 games. 6 out of his last 9 games, rather. This is a good trend, actually. I'll put this one up here. I'm going to add this one to my cart. I'll take Marcell Ozuna over 1.5 bases. Do I mean that? This is hit in 6 straight games at home against a right-handed starting pitcher. 12 of his last 20. I don't think I like it enough to put it up on the board, but I added it to my shopping cart. So this is a bet I'm going to make. I'm not going to put it up on the board, but Marcell Ozuna over 1.5 bases does feel like a good play in this one, given that hits, runs, RBIs isn't available, and given that over half a hit isn't available. Rodney, really appreciate you saying that. By the way, guys, if you ever want my picks, I give away my picks for free, and not just the ones you see on the screen, but every bet that I make every single day. So if you ever miss a pick of mine, DM me on Instagram. My handle is ButtFumbleSports. DM me on Instagram at ButtFumbleSports. You get every bet that I make every single day for free. They're never behind a paywall. They're never hidden. They're never deleted. I make sure my picks are accessible to you guys every single day because my general attitude is you guys work hard for your money. You work hard every single day. When you guys go to watch sports, you should be getting entertainment out of it, a lot of satisfaction, and hopefully some extra money coming into your pocket, not leaving your pocket. So I give away my picks for free. All you got to do is DM me on Instagram, ButtFumbleSports on Instagram. Some of you guys are watching over on Instagram right now. Just DM me on Instagram. I give away all of my picks for free every single day. Bobby, good morning to you. Iggy K, what are those first inning run plays? One more time. Here you go. We have 4 first inning run plays going in 2 different directions, though. White Sox and Brewers, yes. White Sox and Brewers, yes to a run in the first inning. Cardinals and Phillies, yes to a run in the first inning. Cardinals, Phillies, yes to a run in the first inning. Yankees and Giants, no to a run in the first inning. Yankees Giants, no to a run in the first inning. Reds and Cubs, no to a run in the first inning. Reds and Cubs, no to a run in the first inning. Those are the picks we put up on the board so far. Again, you can see everything that's on my screen if you watch over on YouTube. That's definitely the best way to watch the show. You watch over on YouTube, you see every pick that goes up on the board as well as the research that goes in behind it. We're going to focus now on the Dodgers and the Rockies. Before we do that, I've been meaning to talk to you guys about something that is my new secret weapon. And this isn't me promoting something. This isn't me selling you something. This is me genuinely telling you I have a new secret weapon. Killersports.com, you guys know I use that for my research before every show, before every game to look up trends. More and more, I'm using it for in-game betting. Okay, guys? Perfect example was last night. Last night, I'm hanging out, nothing going on because I'm about to do some traveling, so decided to make it a quiet night, and the Yankees game is on. Yankees and Dodgers games are on, and I'm like, man, it was a really good day with sports betting. A lot of things came in. I'm willing to put a couple extra units down based on anything I find on killersports.com for these current games. So what I did, if you're watching on YouTube, pay attention. If you're watching on Instagram, listen up. I'm using killersports.com, KILLER sports.com. It's a free website. You guys can do the same thing. And this is what I did. I look up the team, Yankees, okay? And I look at how they've done when they have a margin after 5 innings, when the margin, M, you have to know how to code this. By the way, this is all on the website, so everything I'm showing you, you can do. So M, and then the number is the margin after specific innings, okay? Really simple, really simple. So when the Yankees have a margin after 5 runs greater or equal to 1, what does that mean? The Yankees are leading after 5 innings. How have they done? When the Yankees are leading a game after 5 innings this year by 1 run, how have they done? They're 32-3. 32-3. They're 25-9 on the run line. Okay? Now, at the time of this game, this was a 1-run difference in the Yankee game. It was a small margin of difference. I saw this, and I was like, man, there's some value here. There's some value on 25-9. Let's take a look at from the Giants side of things. And I started doing my research just like I do pre-show, but I was doing it for the game that was going on. When the Giants have a margin of, when they are down a run after 5 innings, 13-9 straight up, 13-9 on the run line. And you could just see on the run line, they've lost their last 3 in a row. 2 of those were to the Yankees. Kind of interesting. So I put money down on the Yankees minus 1.5. In game, cashed. Dodgers did the same thing. Dodgers, it was a 2-1 game with the Rockies. It was a 2-1 game. Dodgers, it was after 5 innings. The Dodgers, when they've played 5 innings and they have a 1-run lead, the Dodgers are 29-3, 24-8 on the run line. When that becomes 6 innings and they have a 1-run lead, same thing, very strong. How about the Rockies? When the Rockies are down a run after 5 innings, so far this year, Rockies are 11-31. So more and more, I'm not just studying the trends prior to the game, I'm watching the game and I'm playing this out. When the Rockies are on the road and they're down a run after 5 innings, they're 13-8 straight up. That just tells me that they rarely come back. Maybe that means that there's opportunity to put more money down on the Dodgers as the game goes along. Or another one. When the Dodgers are at home after 6 innings and they have a 1-run lead, 18-2 straight up, 14-6 on the run line. They've covered the run line in 4 of their last 5, 5 of their last 6, 6 of their last 7. You can just see all but one since May 4th. They've covered that run line all but one of these games when they have a 1-run lead at home after 6 innings. Again, this is something you guys can do at home. If you're watching baseball today and you're like, okay, I might do some in-game betting, pull up killersports.com and do some of this in-game stuff. I'm telling you, it's really worth it because you're going to find, maybe, I'm not saying it cashes every time, but you just see, if you bet on the Dodgers straight up under this scenario, they have a great return on investment. Even if the return on investment changes over time to, again, maybe odds that aren't great, but especially with some of these heavy favorites like the Dodgers, it may not move as much as you think, especially in a 2-1 game. Yankees, same thing. So check out some of these in-game bets. Check out some of the in-game research. That's something I'm going to be doing more and more. It served me really well. It's actually something I have been struggling with. I have been really bad at in-game betting at times because I was overreacting. And the truth of the matter is, you overreact to the moment, but the data humbles you because the data takes that macro view. So when you're able to step back and go, how have the Yankees done when they hold a lead after a certain point in the game? Here was one for you. I actually want to pull this out because this is actually what kind of changed my mind. The other night, it was the Mariners. It was the Mariners against the Astros, okay? When the Astros, when it's through 8 innings, I believe, and the score is tied. When the score is tied after 8 innings this year, the Astros are 1-8 on the run line. The game at the time was a tie game, and I took the Mariners to cover +1.5. And then I took the Mariners on the money line because I also saw that the Astros were 3-6 straight up. That's a perfect example. You have a tie game. It's late in the game. You can look up how these two teams have done. Astros, when they have a tie game after 8 innings, they're 1-8 on the run line. How about the Mariners under the same scenario? This is exactly what I looked up. Mariners under the same scenario are 5-1. So I took the Mariners +1.5. I took the Mariners on the money line. That was the game J.P. Crawford had his walk-off hit. That is what we're talking about here. That's how we're trying to approach things. How do we make our bets? By using data. Even for in-game betting, there's a lot of value to using killersports.com, looking up trends for in-game betting. It's not just pre-game betting. In-game betting, there's a lot of value to that. So keep your eye on that one, everybody. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're with us every time we go live. I absolutely love talking sports with you guys. I hope you know that. This is the highlight of my day. This is the highlight of my existence, is talking sports with other sports fans just like you. A recap of all the picks we put up on the board so far. We have Oilers on the money line. That is our one NHL pick of the day. Oilers on the money line. For baseball, we have Brewers on the money line. We also have White Sox and Brewers, yes to a run in the first inning. We have Guardians on the money line. We heavily talked about the Nationals to cover. We didn't put it up on the board, but we certainly considered it. We took Red Sox on the money line, but we're taking Tigers +1.5. That has a lot to do with the Red Sox on Sundays are undefeated, but actually at home, last game of a series, the Red Sox have failed to cover the run line the entire year. So two trends that are undefeated. Red Sox on Sundays, they haven't lost. Red Sox at home, last game of a series, they haven't won. So two trends we're very big into. Red Sox money line, Tigers +1.5. We're also taking Red Sox and Tigers. This should be Tigers and Red Sox, forgive me. Tigers, Red Sox, over 8. Tigers, Red Sox, over 8. We have Phillies on the money line. We have Cardinals and Phillies over 8 runs or over 7.5 if you want to put it into a parlay. We have Cardinals, Phillies, yes to a run in the first inning. Yankees and Giants, we're going no run in the first inning for Yankees and Giants. For Reds and Cubs, no run in the first inning. Reds and Cubs, no run in the first inning. And we're taking the Braves on the money line, though that would be a parlay play. Player prop bets that we like, Max Kepler, over half a hit. Jake Myers, over half a hit. Riley Green, over half a hit. And Alec Boehm, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Let's give out another player prop bet that we really like for today's action. Another player prop bet that we really like. This one, Jerkinson Profar. Jerkinson Profar, over half a hit. He has a hit in 4 of his last 5 games, 6 of his last 10. Against a left-handed starting pitcher, though, he has a hit in 9 of his last 10 games. Over his last 20 games, he has a hit in 17 of his last 20 against a left-handed starter. Really, he has a hit in 17 of his last 18 games against a left-handed starter. So far this year, in his career, he's never faced Cole Reagans, but so far this year, Jerkinson Profar against left-handed starters is hitting .328. Put it on the board. Jerkinson Profar over half a hit. That's the next pick we're putting up on the board for all you folks out there. Jerkinson Profar over half a hit. Really like him because of the matchup against the left-handed starter. Other player prop bets that we're going to put up on the board. Jumping on over to the Diamondbacks and the Mets. Diamondbacks and the Mets. Now, Randall Grichuk, we took him yesterday. He got 2 hits yesterday. We were very happy about it. He's got a matchup against Jose Quintana. In his career against Quintana, he's 3 for 9 lifetime. Pretty good numbers against left-handed pitching this year. He's hitting .317 against left-handed pitching. Against left-handed pitching, he has a hit in 8 of his last 9 games, 8 of his last 10. Over his last 20 games, 14 of his last 20 he has a hit. Specifically on the road, he has a hit against the left-handed pitcher in 5 of his last 6 games. I'm going back to the well on this one. I'll put it up on the board as well. Randall Grichuk, over half a hit. By the way, when you came to Butt Fumble Sports today, you may have thought, oh, he's just going to give me the brand name guys, the superstars, the obvious plays. So far, the names that have come up on the board for player prop bets are Max Kepler, Jake Myers, Riley Green, Jerkinson Profar, and Randall Grichuk. We're doing our research based on trends, data, and analytics, and these are the names that come up. These are not your usual suspects. These are some random guys, but you know what? These guys all have the data behind them today. Let's see if we can cash some tickets with them. Appreciate you guys watching the show. Make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're with us. If you watch us on TikTok, now's a great opportunity to hit that follow button and become a follower of the channel, of the company on multiple platforms. Because who knows how long TikTok's going to be around, and who knows how long TikTok's going to allow us to be around. If TikTok doesn't like us talking sports betting, we may not use the platform nearly as often as we usually do. So make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, make sure you're a member of this amazing Butt Fumble Sports community, because we will be live. I will be talking sports with you guys as many days as I can, as often as I can, because I love doing it. If TikTok can't handle us talking sports betting, that's TikTok's problem. We will find a platform, we will find a way, because that's what we love to do. We love talking sports, sports betting, and fantasy sports. That's what we're going to do as often as we can. Appreciate you guys watching the show. We are running out of time on this show. Few more picks I do want to put out on the board for all you folks out there. Few more ones I'll put out on the board. I'm taking Mariners on the money line, guys. Mariners on the money line is a pick that I've been sitting on. I am also taking Dodgers on the money line. Mariners on the money line and Dodgers on the money line. 2 more picks that find the big board today as we close out today's show. So grateful for you guys being with us. Hope you guys enjoyed every single second of it. I'm going to post all these picks. They're going to be available on the SHARPZ app, so make sure you guys DM me on Instagram. Butt Fumble Sports, DM me on Instagram to get every bet that I make every single day. We give away our picks for free. They're never behind a paywall, so DM me on Instagram. Butt Fumble Sports, DM me on Instagram to get every bet that I make every single day. So grateful to have you guys with us. I hope you guys stay healthy. I hope you stay safe. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. Can't wait to talk to you guys again tomorrow. Until then, enjoy all of this baseball action. Enjoy what could be the last NHL game before the Stanley Cup final. And have a great Sunday, everybody. We'll see ya. Goodbye, everybody.